We reopen the file on the most hated finale in sitcom history, How I Met Your Mother. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and say that the finale of How I Met Your Mother is good, because it most certainly is not. But with all of these lists and articles ranking the series finale as one of the worst finales of all time, I had to ask myself, was it really that bad? First off, we got to address this. This is the mother. She's barely in the episode. Not only does she not get to have a proper goodbye, but the entire premise of the episode hinges on the fact that she died. And yes, while future Ted is narrating the story to his kids, he says that the mother died when they were very young. But still, it's a bit jarring to see her go so quickly. So, I give the writers a definite no. Good for that. Then there's this, Ted and Robin getting back together at the end when their relationship didn't work out in the past, and they broke up because Ted couldn't let go of Tracy. Now, I don't buy it. It feels like they're just putting these two together because fans wanted a happy ending. And the writers thought that this was the easiest way to get there. Remember, Ted's kids are grown up. They're out of the house. He could be with whoever he wants. So why not slap an old wacky on there? Bring back a wacky from the past and make them work out in the end. I give the writers another no good for this one. But what about Barney's growth as a person being erased with the wave of a magic wand? In the penultimate episode, Barney decides to leave the group and go be a stay-at-home dad to his newly born baby. He even admits that being a father has changed him and that he doesn't want to go back to the old Barney ways. Then in the finale, after the mother dies, boom, he's back to being the old Barney. He even says the iconic catchphrase, "Suit up." Now, look, Barney can be a bit of a dick sometimes, but he showed that he can grow as a person and change. And I liked him as a stay-at-home dad. Him wanting to be a better person was a nice character development, so again, no good for this one either. Next, there's the fact that the ending was just super rushed. For 9 seasons, we were looking forward to meeting the mother, and then we finally meet her only to have her die in the span of 15 minutes. The last few episodes should have been about saying goodbye to her, but instead they crammed a random wedding and a death into one episode, killed off the mother in the second half of the finale, and then spent the last 5 minutes recapping the whole Ted and Robin love story. It was just too much too fast, and it felt incredibly cheap. No good for this one either. So that brings us to our final question. Was the ending always doomed? Now this one is a little hard to answer. I mean, when the series began, the premise was that the story was being told by an older version of Ted to his kids. So it was always known that something bad happened to Tracy. However, I don't think the writers knew at this point how bad things would get. Over the years, more and more details were added. They gave Tracy a name, a face, a personality, backstory, a death, a funeral, all of that stuff. They fleshed out the character and the audience fell in love with her. By the end of the series, the writers had created a mother that audiences cared about, and the finale was the worst possible place to kill her off. If they had just kept her around or even killed her off a couple episodes earlier, I think fans would have been okay with it. But killing her right before the series ended just wasn't a good idea. So, I gotta give the writers a no good for this one too. And if you're wondering how many no goods that adds up to, yeah, that's a total of 5, and 5 is definitely not a good grade. But my question to you is, do you agree with me? Do you think the ending was bad? Do you think it was the worst finale ever? Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, it's not as bad as people remember it to be? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, and until next time, stop ruining everything.